Hello, everyone, and welcome to Crisis Communication in PR. This webcast is meant to help give a basic understanding of crisis communications for a PR professional. Now, crisis comm is crucial in the field of PR due to the unpredictable nature of the media. Companies are never sure when a crisis will happen, so it is important to plan for the worst while it is still possible. Now, whether a new product is revealed to be defective after release, think of the exploding Galaxy Note 7 phone, or a company releases a controversial ad and the public is in an uproar, having a plan to deal with a crisis is essential. Now, one of the more famous cases of crisis comm was during the Tylenol poisoning crisis in the 1980s. The outlook was very bleak. People lost their lives, Tylenol recalled a large percentage of their product, market shares were dropping, and company trust was rather low. However, because of effective crisis communication, the company was able to bounce back and in a relatively short amount of time, and its method of doing so is now taught in public relations classes. In this webcast, I'm going to go over the importance of having a crisis plan and the basics of what to do during a communications crisis. Now, like I said before, businesses never know when a crisis is going to happen, and honestly, they happen rather frequently. According to statistics from Burson Marsteller, 59% of business decision makers have experienced a crisis, and 79% say that they are only 12 months away from a crisis. Now, based on that alone, having a crisis plan seems imperative, but according to the same set of statistics, only 54% of businesses have a crisis plan in place. Now, according to Christopher Penn from Shift Communications, crisis comm is like putting out a fire. To quote his article, "What is crisis communications?" There's the something you did or something you're responsible for, the fuel. There's the tide of public opinion, the heat, the energy. There's the speed of your reaction to it, the catalyst. As with real fires, if you deny the fire any one of these sources, you break the chain reaction that causes fire and it burns itself out. Now, in order to be ready for a crisis situation, you need to prepare. According to Jonathan Bernstein from Bernstein Crisis Management, if you don't prepare, you'll incur more damage. Bernstein also says that it helps to anticipate what sort of crisis your company might face. It pays carefully to vet anything you put out for the public eye, but say that time has passed now and your company is in the middle of a crisis. It's important to identify what happened and why. In the Tylenol case, the fault was not on the company, but on a third party. So sometimes a company may not entirely be in the wrong. Now, doing this, you can understand any business impacts you might have, losses of trust or market share drops. Now, next, it pays to do some social listening. Now that we're in the area of, now that we have social media, we can do this very easily now. See what people are saying on Twitter, Facebook, or look for any reports the news is giving based on your brand. Doing this can help you form a plan for how to respond and basically assuage the public disapproval of your company. So now it's time to respond to the public and try to help your brand's reputation. In this step, reaching the media is expected and necessary. But according to Reagan's PR Daily, there are 9 audiences aside from the media you should reach. Now, you should reach corporate executives, employees, the board of directors, customers, vendors, industry analysts, financial institutes, trade associations, and regulators. Now, after sending out a message in response to public outcry, it is important to gauge the public's reaction to how your organization handled the crisis. If it was handled poorly, if the main issues were not addressed, or if your company does nothing, then you may be in more trouble than when you started. But if it was handled well, your company will soon be able to rebuild public trust over time. Now, that about wraps up the Crisis Communications webcast. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope that you're able to realize the importance of having a crisis plan and learn some of the basics of how to make one. If you'd like to go more in depth about how to handle a crisis for your company, some helpful places to visit are instituteforpr.org, Bernstein Crisis Management and their service Avoid the Apology, meltwater.com, and Shift Communications. Thank you very much for joining me and have a pleasant day.